Kristin Chenoweth has finally decided to break her silence about one of Broadway's most persistent rumors, the supposed long-running feud between her and Idina Menzel, her co-star from the original Broadway production of Wicked. For years, fans and gossip columns have speculated about behind-the-scenes drama, artistic clashes, and cold stares between the two powerhouse women who helped define one of the most successful musicals in modern theater. But now, in a deeply candid and emotional new interview, Chenoweth has laid everything on the table, setting the record straight once and for all. According to Kristin, the entire idea of a feud was born from a misunderstanding, one fueled by the natural differences between two strong, talented, and ambitious women working under enormous pressure at a defining moment in their careers. She explained that she and Idina were simply very different in personality, in creative process, and in how they handled the weight of the production. Chenoweth said, "We are so different in how we work. We approach things in such unique ways, so of course people were going to assume there was tension." She went on to say that only she and Idina know what those early days were truly like, the exhaustion, the nerves, the excitement, and the pressure of knowing that Wicked could either make or break their careers. To understand the full weight of this moment, we have to go back to the early 2000s, when Wicked first came to life. The year was 2003, and Broadway was buzzing about this ambitious new musical that dared to reimagine the world of The Wizard of Oz from the witch's point of view. Kristin Chenoweth, already known for her stunning soprano and her bubbly charm, was cast as Glinda, the perky, dazzling good witch. Idina Menzel, with her raw power and emotional intensity, was cast as Elphaba, the misunderstood green witch who would later become the Wicked Witch of the West. From the first workshop rehearsals, the chemistry between the two women was electric. On stage, they were pure magic. But behind the scenes, the differences in their working styles couldn't be ignored. Kristin was polished, precise, and technically meticulous. Every gesture, every inflection carefully chosen. Idina, on the other hand, was instinctive, emotional, and spontaneous. She thrived on raw energy and authenticity. These contrasts made their performances unforgettable, but to outsiders, it also looked like creative tension. As the show opened at the Gershwin Theater in October 2003, the anticipation was immense. Reviews were mixed, but audiences fell in love instantly. Kristin remembered telling Idina after that first performance that it didn't matter what the critics said, they could hear the audience's love from the stage. It was the fans who truly made Wicked a phenomenon. Yet even as the show soared, rumors of rivalry started to circulate. When award season arrived, both actresses were nominated for the Tony Award for Best Leading Actress in a Musical. It was an unprecedented moment. Two leading women from the same show competing in the same category. In the end, Idina Menzel took home the Tony, and that moment seemed to cement the public narrative that Kristin had lost out and that perhaps resentment followed. Of course, that wasn't the truth. Years later, Chenoweth has reflected on that time with warmth, not bitterness. She said multiple times that she was proud of Idina's win and that it was never about competition. In her latest interview, she described their relationship as something closer to family than rivalry. She said, "We would die for each other. It's like sisters. Are sisters always perfect? No, but it's family. That's what we are." For anyone who's followed their careers since Wicked, that sisterly bond has shown itself in subtle ways over the years. Whether it's playful references to their shared history, appearing together at events, or cheering each other on from afar, there's always been an undercurrent of respect and affection between them. Still, the media continued to frame their story through the lens of competition, as if two women couldn't possibly share the spotlight without animosity. What Kristin revealed in her new interview is that the rumors never fully went away, even 20 years later. Every time one of them made a major career move, headlines would find a way to pit them against each other. When Idina went on to star in Rent and Frozen, and Kristin became a household name through TV and concerts, there was always that underlying question: were they still rivals? Kristin laughed off the idea, saying, "It's funny how people love to see two women as competitors instead of collaborators. It's the oldest story in the book, and it's just not true for us." She explained that she and Idina actually shared some of the most intense emotional experiences of their lives during Wicked. Behind the glamour of Broadway lights, there were moments of fear, exhaustion, and even personal loss. Kristin revealed that during parts of Wicked's run, she was dealing with her mother's illness, and that Idina often provided quiet support during those difficult days. That revelation added a deeply human layer to the story, a reminder that these women weren't just characters in a musical or figures in a tabloid headline. They were two artists holding each other up through life's hardest moments while performing one of the most demanding shows in theater history. Kristin also touched on how their careers diverged after Wicked. Idina's star exploded when Frozen became a global sensation and her voice became immortalized through the song Let It Go. Meanwhile, Kristin continued to shine in television, film, and concert halls, becoming one of the most recognizable voices in musical theater. Despite their different paths, both have spoken about how Wicked remains the defining chapter of their careers, a chapter that bound them together forever. Interestingly, Chenoweth revealed that she and Idina had a brief reunion while filming their cameo appearances in the 2024 Wicked movie, starring Ariana Grande as Glinda and Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba. She called it a full circle moment, explaining that standing beside Idina again reminded her how far they'd come, not as rivals, but as trailblazers. Both women passed the torch, or as Kristin put it, passed the broom and the wand to the next generation. She also confirmed that she will not be appearing in the upcoming Wicked for Good sequel, saying, "It's time to let the new cast shine. We've done our part." But she added that the bond between her and Idina will always remain, even if they're not sharing the stage anymore. Public reaction to Kristin's comments has been overwhelmingly positive. Fans have flooded social media with messages of love and nostalgia. One fan wrote, "They gave us Glinda and Elphaba. How could there ever be hate between them?" Another said, "Kristin's words prove what real sisterhood looks like in this industry." Many have praised Kristin for speaking openly about the pressure women face in entertainment and how society still tends to frame success stories as competitions rather than collaborations. The story of Kristin and Idina is, at its heart, the story of two women who changed the face of Broadway. They built something iconic together, carried the emotional weight of their roles, and turned their differences into art that continues to inspire millions. Wicked was always about perception, how people judge what they don't understand, and in a poetic way, that same theme followed its stars off stage. By addressing the rumors with honesty and grace, Kristin Chenoweth has effectively closed one of Broadway's longest-running gossip chapters. She's shown that two women can share success without rivalry, that creative differences don't equal animosity, and that true sisterhood can exist even under the blinding lights of fame. She ended her reflections with a simple truth: sisters aren't always perfect, but we're forever part of each other's story. So while the world continues to celebrate Wicked's legacy, from its original Broadway magic to the blockbuster film adaptations, one thing is now clear. The real story between Kristin Chenoweth and Idina Menzel isn't one of jealousy or conflict, but of connection, mutual respect, and enduring friendship. And as the two women who brought Glinda and Elphaba to life step aside for a new generation, they leave behind a message that's as powerful as any song in the show, that authenticity, love, and shared struggle can outlast any rumor. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.